विषय जर रिपोर्टिंग आपले इंटरप्रिटेटिव्ह जर्नलिझम बी जर म्हणिल्लें जाल्यार म्हाका दिसता विशय इल्लो चड सोंपो जाता आशिल्लो. पण आयच्या दिसाक सोंपो विशय घेवन चलची ना, विशय कठीणच जाय. आनी 4 मानेस्त आसात म्हजे बरोबर. फटाफट वळख करून दिता, श्यामान वळख करून दिल्या. तरी आसतना राजेश मेनन आसा टायम्स ऑफ इंडियाचे, किशोर नायक गांवकर आसात गोवन वार्ताचे, एशली रोजारियो आसा द गोवनाचे, आनी पेमिला डिमोला आसा व्हेरी सिनियर जर्नलिस्ट. सो बिकॉज द सब्जेक्ट इज व्हेरी tricky and very trickily framed, I'll start with Rajesh. Define it.
Thank you, Pramod. At the outset, I would like to thank the Department of Information and Technology, Government of Goa, for inviting me to a panel discussion on reporting, such a complex topic, reporting, interpretation, a journey, which I'm actually sitting over here, I'm still trying to interpret it. Also, let me take this opportunity to congratulate all the award winners for the wonderful stories that actually celebrates journalism. I would request you all to give a big round of applause to the award winners. Before I get into this subject or something, I wanted to basically share a few thoughts of mine about reporting. I would not call it reporting, but I would rather call it journalism. The reason is what we basically do is our fundamental job is to tell stories. Stories that no one has ever told. Stories people don't have the patience to listen to and want to write. And stories, if we don't tell, probably nobody else will tell it. Like as Gabriel Garcia Marquez said, life is not what one lived, but what one remembers and how one remembers in order to recount it. So, but what is important in all this is that when we tell the stories, we need to be credible. And to be credible, we must be factually correct, fair, honest, and honorable. That is the basis of good journalism. Now, in this age of selfie journalism, I call it selfie journalism, where some journalists are obsessed by how they look, what they say with cameras turned on to themselves, and they are only concerned about their own views. Our job is to tell stories. It is also the age of social media, where everyone has an opinion, and retweets and likes have become the new measure of success. And also with ideologically driven websites and activists masquerading as journalists, journalism has been discredited and no more commands the respect that it used to. As journalists, our job is to hold officials and power brokers accountable, pursue stories in public interest, operate independently of political parties or interest groups, not to pay for or fabricate information, check facts, and correct mistakes. We are not in the business of pandering to anybody. We are not in the business of placating anybody. Because personally also I think that you don't gain anything by it. And it has become incredibly difficult to do good journalism by yourself. So what do? You need to have people around you who are smarter than you, who are fair, who walk into the newsroom without any biases. They do not bring their ideology into the newsroom. They are balanced and neutral. The stories must speak for itself. Journalists should never become stories, and that is the danger that interpretation brings in. After all, news is the first rough draft of history, and I'm sure my fellow panelists will delve more into it and probably explain what the whole interpretation is all about. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for widening and broadening the canvas. It makes my job a hell lot easier. Well, I'll start. Then I'll take opening remarks and then we'll go into the discussion part. How do you look at this topic?
Actually, I agree with Rajesh that journalism is about balance, it's about accuracy, it's about fairness, it's about integrity and bringing an honest point of view and collecting as many points of view as possible from different sources. Because I have found in my years in journalism that, even though we say that, we have to write the truth and report the truth is multidimensional. There are many truths. It's like you're on a cliff and the person at the bottom of the cliff has one view because this is the scope of his vision. As you go higher, you have another view. And different people have different views. The person affected by a project has one point of view. The government official who is trying to negotiate different or trying to just implement a policy of the government has another point of view and another task to perform. The corporate who's implementing a project has his own dimension and his own point of view. The activist who's trying to bring some kind of representation for the people who are affected has another point of view, and the bureaucrat has another point of view. So there are multiple truths, and as a journalist I have found that it is our job to represent all these points of view, because our ultimate aim of writing is to create an opinion and to present it to the reader, represent multiple opinions and present it to the reader. And in the process, of course, we have our own perspectives, we reach some conclusions, but it is not our job to present the conclusions as, this is what we think. But we have to present the views of multiple players in the field. And that is where in-depth reporting plays a big role, because you have the opportunity to go beyond just the news cycle of, the basic W's, like what happened, when it happened, how it happened, and to whom it happened. But you have to report on, the in-depth reporting allows you to explain why something has happened, how it has happened, what is the reason for an incident. And in today's days of television journalism with this 24 hours news cycle, the onus of the possibilities of interpretative reporting is less and less. I think because the way television media, which is the rising media, which is it's like our surround sound. To actually get interpretative reporting implemented, you have to send a whole crew of, you have to send a camera crew with a journalist, so it's very expensive. So what television channels generally do is that they call experts into the field, they call political party representatives and spokespersons into the studio and get them to talk and discuss an event and then present, and the anchor is unable to even moderate that discussion adequately, because each political party wants to present their point of view, because it is about pinning responsibility, it's about finding out why a particular thing has happened, because you're trying to reach a conclusion. So this becomes very politically colored, and it's impossible then to reach any possible proper conclusion, I feel. So a lot of people find television completely difficult to negotiate because of that. Pramod will disagree, because in Goa, fortunately, we have not reached that stage. The national channels are impossible to watch. I just don't watch any national television channel except when something has really caught my attention, because it just sends your blood pressure up, and it's a shouting match. So I come from the print media, where it's an old school way of functioning, where the reporter goes out, speaks to multiple people, does his or her research, presents the facts, And I feel that that really is the pinnacle of journalism. I feel that is my personal opinion.
Thank you, Pamela, for giving me the clean sheet. So that's all that matters right now for me. After bashing television so much, finally you said that you are scot-free. So thank you.
I said you're not yet reached.
You are not yet reached there. I will try not to reach there. I'll go to Kishore now. किशोराची गजाल अशी असता की हो जो विषय आसा म्हणजे सगळ्यांत चड किशोराक सूट जाता कारण तो पेपराक जितली बरयता तितलेंच फेसबुकार बरयता आनी तितलेंच तुगे पेपरार जितलो उजलो येता तितलोच फेसबुकार उजलो येता अँड मोस्ट ऑफ हिज फेसबुक पोस्ट कॅन बी कॉल्ड एज दिस इंटरप्रिटेटिव्ह रिपोर्टिंग सो यू आर द बेस्ट पर्सन टू डिफाइन इट नाउ.
Sure. First of all, I would like to wish all my journalist comrades on this National Press Day. Secondly, I congratulate all prize-winning my journalist friends. आणि दुसरी गजाल म्हणजे आयज हांगा ज्या सिनियर जर्नलिस्टाचो भोवमान जातलो त्या सिनियर जर्नलिस्टांचे हांव अभिनंदन करता. I thank Department of Information टू हो म्हाका हॉनर दिलो तेंच्यांनी कारण हांगासर जे 24 जाण पॅनलिस्ट बसले ते सिनियर जर्नलिस्ट आसात आनी तेंच्या बरोबर बसपाचो मान म्हाका फावो जालो त्या खातीर हांव म्हायती खात्याचो आभारी आसा. जशें आमच्या पॅनलिस्टांनी सांगलें की हो न्यूज इंटरप्रिटेशन हो खूब कठीण विशय जावन आसा. येस, इट इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. हो विशय जेन्ना म्हाज्या कडेन पावलो की न्यूज इंटरप्रिटेशन एज अ जर्नी म्हणून तेन्ना म्हाका उगडास येयलो आमचे आदले मुख्यमंत्री मनोहरबाब पर्रीकरांचो. हांव तेन्ना गुजाचो अध्यक्ष आसलो आनी एक दीस पर्रीकर बाबान एक रागान एक स्टेटमेंट केलो की तुमचें कितें क्वॉलिफिकेशन, जर्नलिस्टाचें क्वॉलिफिकेशन कितें, तुमकां कळटा तरी आपूण कितें उलयता तो आनी तुमी कितेंच्या कितें छापता. सो हांगासर प्रश्न येता तो न्यूज इंटरप्रिटेशन. बातमी समजून घेवप, बातमेचो अर्थ समजून घेवप आणि तो अर्थ लोकांपर्यंत पावप ही एक मोठी जबाबदारी पत्रकारांकडेन आसता. काळानुरूप पत्रकारिता जशी बदलत गेल्या म्हणजे पयलींची पत्रकारिता आणि आताची पत्रकारिता हितून जमीन आसमानाचो फरक. जर्नलिझम ह्यो लोकशाहीचो चौथो स्तंभ अशें म्हणटात पूण आयज पांचवो एक स्तंभ तयार जाला तो म्हणजे सोशल मिडिया. म्हणजे जर्नलिस्ट सांगता ते फायनल न्हू. फाल्यां जर्नलिस्टान एखाद्या बातमेन किंवा एखाद्या आपल्या आर्टिकलान जर चुकीची माहिती दिल्या जाल्यार ती चुकीची माहिती कशी चुकीची आसा ही दुसऱ्या दिसा फेसबुकाचेर येता हो जर्नलिस्ट तकलेन सुटला काय म्हणून कितें बरयता काय म्हणून. सो आमकां सुद्दां बातमी करतना किंवा न्यूज करतना आतां इतलो सतर्क रावचो पडटा की तुजी नॉलेज, तुजें इंटरप्रिटेशन हेचेर सुद्दां नजर दवरपाची एक यंत्रणा ह्या सोशल मिडियाच्या माध्यमांतसून सुरू जाल्या. न्यूज इंटरप्रिटेशन इज ऑल डिपेंड्स अपॉन द नॉलेज ऑफ द सब्जेक्ट, इन्फॉर्मेशन अँड जशें पामेलान म्हटलां तशें की एक मनीस म्हणून माझे काय तरी विचार असू शकतात, माझी काय धोरणां असू शकतात आणि त्या विचारांची आणि धोरणांशी हांव जर प्रत्येक गोष्ट जर लिंक करपाक लागलो जाल्यार माझें इंटरप्रिटेशन चुको शकता. फॉर वन रिजन देर आर डिफरंट एस्पेक्ट्स. प्रत्येक मनीस हो प्रत्येक मनशाचो विचार हो वेगळो असता. सरकार एका विचारान एक स्कीम राबयता, जर्नलिस्ट त्याचो विचार वेगळ्या पद्धतीन करता, बेनिफिशरी त्याचो विचार वेगळ्या पद्धतीन करता, बाकीचे समाजातले घटक त्याचो विचार वेगळ्या पद्धतीन करता. तर या सगळ्यांचो विचार सामावून घेवपी इंटरप्रिटेशन जावंक जाय जेणे करून ते इंटरप्रिटेशन खऱ्या अर्थान लोकांपर्यंत पावंक जाय. सो न्यूज इंटरप्रिटेशन इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट आस्पेक्ट ऑफ जर्नलिझम एज ऑन टुडे. सेकंडली पयली एक अशी आसली की पयली ज्या मनशाक तळमळ आसा समाजा बद्दल, ज्या मनशाक अन्यायाच्या विरोधान चीड आसा अशे मनीस पत्रकारितेन येताले. त्यामुळे पत्रकारिता हो एक अशें फील्ड आसा ज्या फिल्डाक क्वॉलिफिकेशन लागनासलें. तूं पत्रकार 8वी फेल 8वी पास बरोवपाक येयलें काय तूं पत्रकार जालो. आयज ती परिस्थिती ना. आयज आमी खंयच्याय नवीन पेपरान किंवा नवीन चॅनलान जर पत्रकार म्हणून जॉईन जावपाक वयतले जाल्यार वी नीड डिग्री. ते विचारतात तुज्या कडेन डिग्री आसा, तुज्या कडेन नॉलेज आसा, टेक्निकल नॉलेज आसा, तुका कंप्युटर हाताळपाक कळटा, तुका ह्यो टेक्निकल गोश्टी कळटात. तर नॉलेज इज इम्पॉर्टंट. पयले सारकी परिस्थिती नासली. पयली पेपरार तूं बातमी दिली, लेख दिलो की तो कसो चुकीचो आसा हें सांगपाक कोणी तरी तें पत्र बरोवचें पडटालें. आयज ती परिस्थिती ना. आयज तुका दुसऱ्याच दिसा तुजें पोस्टमॉर्टम जाता ऑन फेसबुक, दे यू आर रॉंग, दिस रिपोर्टर हॅज नो नॉलेज ऑफ दिस पर्टिक्युलर इशू, ही हॅज टोटली रॉंगली इंटरप्रिटेड अ पर्टिक्युलर न्यूज. सो वी हॅव टू बी व्हेरी केअरफुल इन दीस. सेकंडली, पत्रकारितेचे क्षेत्र आता इतलें वाडलेलें आसा. फॉर एक्झाम्पल, आय एम वर्किंग फॉर अ लोकल न्यूज पेपर. लोकल न्यूज पेपराक काम करतना एखादो पत्रकार आपूण पॉलिटिकलूच करतलो, क्रायमूच करतलो, कल्चरलूच करतलो असो लिमिटान रावूंक शकना. तेका सादो रस्त्या वयलें आंदोलन, ते विधानसभा अधिवेशन, ते राज्यपालाची शपथविधी सगळें करचें पडटा. त्यामुळे तेका ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टींचो अनुभव मेळटा. सेकंडली, वेगवेगळ्यो गोष्टी, टेक्निकल गोष्टी, फॉर एक्झाम्पल बजेट, वी हॅव टू कवर बजेट. बजेट म्हणजे कितें, तेचे टेक्निकल गोष्टी कशा असतात, व्हॉट इज द मिनींग ऑफ बजेट, हें सगळें समजून घेवन आमकां न्यूजाची इंटरप्रिटेशन करून ती लोकां पर्यंत पावोवची पडटा. त्यामुळे न्यूज इंटरप्रिटेशन इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट एस्पेक्ट आयच्या परिस्थितीन तयार जाल्लो आसा. आणि त्या न्यूज पेपराची आणि त्या पत्रकाराची क्रेडिबिलिटी ही त्या न्यूज इंटरप्रिटेशनाचेर अवलंबून आसा. त्यामुळे काम करतानाच वेगवेगळ्या गोष्टींचो अभ्यास करप, त्याची माहिती जाणून घेवप आणि मागीर ती लोकां पर्यंत पावप, ह्यो सगळ्यो गोष्टी आता जर्नलिस्टाक करच्यो पडटा. त्यामुळे न्यूज इंटरप्रिटेशन इज चॅलेंज अँड इट इज अ व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट एस्पेक्ट ऑफ जर्नलिझम एज ऑफ नाव.
I kept Ashley last deliberately because I know when it comes to interpretation, Ashley can present different interpretation of the same story to you standing anywhere. So, Ashley, how do you look at it?
Anything that a journalist does is an interpretation. Even if he's covering a press conference addressed by a personality, how he absorbs what that personality has said is an interpretation, and how he presents it is also an interpretation. So I believe every act of a journalist is an interpretation. But to explain this, I will rely on my own experience in journalism, in print journalism. One case of 1998 and one case of very recent days. Before that, Pramod started off by saying that today is Raj Tilak's birthday. So, Raj, happy birthday. But something that happened today morning that moved me a lot, because I met this man just 2 days ago. Today is also the death day of our DGP, Pranav Nanda. We just got the news that he died of a massive heart attack in Delhi when he had gone home. And I just met him 2 days ago when he launched this SOS app for women and child in distress at the police set up in Altino. And those few couple of minutes that I spent with him there before the function started made me feel that for the first time in my 26 years in journalism, made me feel like finally we have a DGP who is humane. So I brought up this point basically to say that I believe journalism is losing humanity. And in our day-to-day functioning, we have to bring in humanity and humane qualities in us to help us interpret what we are going to report on. So let me point out the example or something that I did or I faced when I covered a very massive accident, road accident in 1998. On this that time this bypass was new, the new highway from the KTC to Margaon, the national highway. Earlier we had that old road that went from Merrimack to Santa Cruz and Bambuli Map. But then we had this bypass, and we at the Herald in those days used to call that road the road to hell, because every day that that bypass was commissioned, we had 3 to 4 accidents, 1 or 2 deaths. So we kept a photographer only to do that job. Every time there's an accident, click a photograph, and we would say, accident number 1 on road to hell, accident on the next day, accident number 4 on road to hell. So there was this huge accident on that road. There was a Margaon Panjim bus that had its brakes failed on the downslope coming from Bambulim down and just plowed 6-7 motorcyclists, 3-4 vehicles on its way, and there were about 7-8 deaths. This was somewhere in July or August during the monsoon of 1998. And I rushed there the moment I got the news because I was doing the crime beat, so I had to be there. And then there was this victim couple, in their mid-30s, husband, wife, who died on the spot. They were on a scooter, getting to work perhaps, and they died on the spot. And there were these 3-4 people actually around them, and hunting around the place in that field where that Kadamba bus had fallen turtle, and looking for something. And I'm asking them, what are you looking for? So they said, we are looking for a child. We are looking for a 1-year-old child. So I said, which child? So they told me this couple has a child, and for sure they wouldn't leave the child alone at home, and the child would have been with them on the bike. And they couldn't find the child. So I found out that this couple was from Shora, and I thought it's possible that this couple, being responsible, did not bring the child on the scooter and left the child at home. For me, that covering that accident didn't mean counting how many people died, how many people were injured, what was the cause of the accident. That meant very little for me at that moment. For me, that 1-year-old child, where is that child? Is it dead? Is that child alive? And what is that child's story with the death or with being orphaned in a single accident? Was the real story of that accident? So I called up my photographer, and the two of us went to Shora, and bingo, the child was smiling away, unaware of what happened to his parents. And I did that story of that child. I was not bothered about the accident anymore. So that humanity needs to be brought in our interpretation whenever we do any journalism today. Now, the more recent story, unraveling story, is of this tanker this naphtha tanker that is grounded in Tonapal. Now, most of the stories that we have seen are repetitive. Last 15 days, we've had the Chief Minister saying, Falya gatle, Porva gatle, Falya gatle, Porva katle, Naftara Porva katle. So this has been going for 15 days. And all other stories talk about how this is going to damage Goa, how this is going to affect our ecology. Nobody knows how it is going to affect, but we are just reporting that it is going to affect. Some people saying it is a ticking bomb, it's going to blow up, 2,500 metric tons of highly inflammable naphtha can blow up and everything will be destroyed. What nobody is talking of is from the day this tanker was grounded about 800 meters from that Marival beach next to Cabo, some 200 people have lost their livelihood. 200 fishing community people from that Marival beach have been prevented from going out and fishing, which is their daily bread. No one has told their story. So we did it. I mean, the Goan did do a story on those people, but one story was done and it was forgotten. Whereas the Chief Minister saying it will be done today, it will be done tomorrow, it will be done day after tomorrow has been reported every day. According to me, the story of those 200 fishing community people, those 50, 60 families, is more important than the Chief Minister telling me that it's happening tomorrow and it's happening day after tomorrow. So, interpretation is there in everything that a journalist does, but I believe that the human angle of interpretation is missing out from journalism today, and we need to make a conscious effort to bring it in. Thank you.
म्हजो प्रश्न तुका आनी सगळ्यांकूच वयर बसलेले आसा. आमी एखादी बाजू मांडटा आसतना कोणाची आसूं ती बरी आसूं वायट आसूं कितें आसूं इज इट आमी प्रत्येक फावटी व्हेरिफिकेशन करता काय कितें आनी व्हेरिफिकेशन करपाची गरज आसता काय ना काय आमी कितें एकूच सायड आयकता आनी ती मांडटा खंयची स्टेटीच्या बाबतींत आसतली कितेंय आसूं शकता. हे पत्रकारांनी पळोवपाक जाय काय नाका म्हजें एकटेच म्हणणें आसा. सदांच खंयचीय बाजू फॅक्ट कितेंय आसत तूं आतां म्हादईचेर उलयलो खंयच्या विशयान इररिस्पेक्टीव ऑफ दॅट व्हेरीफाय करप काय नाका म्हणजे लोकां समोर सत्य येवपाक जाय काय नाका हो म्हजो प्रश्न आसा.
Okay, I'll answer that. Everybody, this is my time to answer the question. तर एक गजाल सर तुम्ही येवची पयलीं उलयल्ले की फॅक्ट्स ट्रूथ आनी ओपिनियन हांचे मदली लायन मे बी बिकॉज ऑफ कॉम्पिटिशन मे बी बिकॉज ऑफ हार्श डेडलायन्स मे बी बिकॉज ऑफ प्रेशर्स खूब फावटी एज एडिटर्स आमकांय दिसता की केन्ना केन्ना ब्लर जातात म्हणून. आनी आय फील अवर जॉब नाव प्रायमरीली राजेशान जशें म्हणिल्लें इट हॅज कम डावन टू एन्श्युरिंग दॅट वी प्रेजेंट फॅक्ट्स आनी वी प्रेजेंट ऑल फॅक्ट्स आनी करेक्ट फॅक्ट्स. आणि जेन्ना once those facts are presented, we present all sides of the story. I think if we are failing in doing that, I think we are failing in doing our duty. आणि जशें म्हळें की it does we can apologize later for doing something wrong, but the point is our job is such that there should not be a परिस्थिती where we should apologize. So I know most of the time you are at the receiving end, but we have to accept our mistake, but most importantly we have to ensure that there are no mistakes. It can be one mistake in 100 occasions, but if that frequency is more than that, I think we all need to introspect and we all need to ensure that that doesn't happen. So thanks a lot for being such a wonderful audience, and thanks a lot Chief Minister for asking that question. It actually wants 1 minute. This is a very dangerous 1 minute. I am not responsible for this.
No, it's not going to be dangerous. We just spoke on a very important subject in journalism, that is interpretation. But there is one problem I have with this panel here. This is for whoever has decided who is going to be the panel. I think we should stop, wanting only senior journalists here. Okay, the world is changing. The world is changing, and I don't think there is incompetency among juniors. Okay, so next time we have a panel like this, I would love to give away my place to a junior.
Sure.
Yeah.
Same here. So thank you all. हांगा सोपयतात हे चर्चासत्र मुखार खूब बरो प्रोग्राम आसा, अवॉर्ड सेरेमनी आसा. कॉंग्रॅच्युलेट ऑल दी अवॉर्ड विनर्स अँड थँक यू माय पॅनलिस्ट फॉर बीइंग सच वंडरफुल पॅनलिस्ट. थँक यू.